Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Atas permintaan ramai orang lah ya yang meminta saya siarkan terjemahan video viral Tanya Lain, Jawab Lain tu. Okey, dah siap dah. 2 jam tau saya terjemahkan dan menjelaskan dan masukkan translation tu sebaris-sebaris dalam video 4 minit 49 saat tu. Sebab saya tak harapkan apps buat. Sebab apps ni dia pun pening kepala juga nak translate apa yang no spin ni. Okey, saya bagi huraian pendek ya sebelum isu bagi video tu. Terjemahan video tu yang ada 5 bahagian. Bahagian 1, soalan mudah daripada moderator tu. Bahagian kedua, jawapan Anwar yang memuji Bob Miller dan ambil kesempatan angkat diri dia dengan bagi tahu audience yang dia pernah jadi pensyarah kat George Washington University. Tak apa dia ajar tak tahulah. Bahagian ketiga ialah beliau bercerita tentang pertemuan dia dengan Menteri Kewangan Indonesia pada tahun 1997 dan cerita pasal tengok filem Titanic itulah. Bahagian ni beliau sempat puji lagi diri sendiri dengan mengatakan beliau pun telah memberi nasihat yang sama kepada PM beliau iaitu Mahathir lah pada tahun 1997. Bahagian keempat ialah jawapan yang ditunggu-tunggu. Tapi beliau cerita pula pasal pertemuan dia dengan keluarga dia dengan Nelson Mandela dan ambil kesempatan lagi puji diri sendiri seolah-olah beliau tu sama level dengan Mandela. Beliau masuk jail, keluar jail, kononnya pejuang kebebasan lah macam Mandela juga. Sebenarnya satu dunia tahu beliau masuk jail kerana salah guna kuasa dan terlewat. Bahagian kelima ialah respon moderator yang tertawa dengan jawapan tersebut dan siap tepek lagi yang Anwar tak cerita langsung pasal Malaysia Madani dan plan pembangunan negara.
Now, just last week, you announced a new 5-year development agenda. What in this new plan is going to help Malaysia turn the corner and realize that dream?
Thank you, Silva. I mean, since Bob Rubin is here, I must recognize his presence as a dear friend, dear colleague, who showed so much compassion and care in those difficult years. He was an outstanding Secretary of Treasury from major economy, but he was so considerate, kind, and even for relatively smaller economies like Malaysia, he took us as a friend, listened quite a bit. And the only problem with America, everybody hectors, nobody listens. But I say there's an exception. Bob Rubin listened very well, tried to understand our predicament. Thank you, Bob. And all those years when I was assigned to the teaching at Georgetown University, he knew my background, my predicament, and he, with friends like Jim Wolfenson, would take an extra effort to contact CFR and to make sure that I'm quite involved and with the support he gave. Thank you very much. Now, I was here at the time of prior to the financial crisis, or at the beginning. Malaysia was not affected, but it was mainly Thailand, the Thai baht crisis, and Indonesia. And I think Morris Greenberg moderated the session. And I got into lots of trouble because of that speech in 1997. I started by saying, quoting Spieter, a gale of creative destruction. Why can't we in Asia use that period to rebuild, to correct the flaws and weaknesses in the system, particularly issue of governance, issue of corruption, issue of faulty policies. And then I told the story. My colleague, Lain, was then Minister of Finance of Indonesia. And that was the time of the Titanic. So I met him, I said, Lain, why don't you spend a bit of time, relax and watch the Titanic? He said, Anwar, why do I need to watch the Titanic? I am in the Titanic. So I said, what's the problem? He said, I told the captain, slow down, sir. We're going to crash. The captain says, no, our fundamentals are strong. We go full steam ahead. And that was the disaster for Indonesia. So I cited that. This was related to the then boss of mine, Prime Minister. And he said, Anwar used the CFR to attack the Prime Minister. And the rest is history. I was incarcerated for some years, and CFR was partly responsible. Now back to your question, Dr. Silva. I think what is important, particularly for those who have undergone some tribulations and trials in life, I always relate my experience with Madiba, with Mandela. Soon after I was released, many times I was released, but this particular year was 2004. He invited me, Aziza, and the family to visit him in Jawab. And he was very relaxed, cheerful. And they started looking at my children. And immediately he changed. He looked very disturbed, sad, and was teary. And he said, Anwar, we must be crazy, and no wonder some people consider us mad. So I tried to get him to relax a bit. I said, look, Madiba, yours was a long walk to freedom. Mine is a short walk to freedom. And we are certainly not mad, but I agree with you. We must be really crazy to do what we had to do. I think that should suffice as the answer.
But you didn't talk about Minadani and you didn't talk about the economic development plan. So let's spend a little time on that.
Sebenarnya itu hanya satu soalan dan soalan pertama. Dalam wawancara tersebut, beliau diajukan beberapa soalan dan boleh dikatakan semua jawapan beliau melalut dan merapu. Kalau ada masa, saya akan buat video satu persatu ya. Sila tinggalkan pendapat anda dalam ruang komen. Terima kasih.